I want to talk directly to the students. I see you. No. I know what you did here. You've spent the semester getting critical feedback from me on your speeches in Real Talk. And now you choose me to be your speaker at your graduation. When June Lay spoke last year, I was sitting right there and thinking, wow, what a great honor. This feels like a setup, y'all. What I most love about days like this is meeting the people that you love. We all bring people into places like this, the teachers who inspired us to follow in their footsteps, the friends and family given and chosen who nurtured our journeys, and the elders and ancestors whose shoulders lift us up. Some of my people are here today, 4 generations, from my folks, Coach Mac and Michelle, passionate public school educators for a combined 79 years. To my niece, Malia, a brilliant scholar athlete who just turned 14 last week. In addition to being a grateful son and a glowing uncle, I am also a grandma's boy. In 1971, the year that I was born and adopted, my grandma McCarthy retired after 41 years of teaching. That fall, her district honored her by renaming the street to the new high school McCarthy Way. Grandma McCarthy had an old wooden swing in her backyard. It had 2 wide benches that faced each other. On the weekends, whenever the weather was nice, she would make a big pitcher of Lipton iced tea, and we would take our positions facing each other on that swing. She used to ask a lot of questions, millions of questions, but 2 stand out. What did you learn this week? And what do you have questions about? And I realize now in retrospect that she was trying to get me to talk about what I was being taught and to think critically about those things. She was always interested in what I was learning, in what I was asking, and in what I was saying. Every child deserves an adult in their life like that, a teacher who still wants to learn. That swing. That swing was my favorite school. Graham Bobernitz was also hungry to learn. Unlike Grandma McCarthy, who was a first-generation college student, Graham left high school when she was 16 to work in a garment factory in upstate New York. She was a cuffer, which meant that she put the cuffs on men's dress shirts, like the one I'm wearing today. Like her 3 Italian sisters, Graham could cook. And when I wasn't on that swing, I was in her kitchen, smelling the sauce, marveling at the meatballs, hovering over the homemade pasta that seemed to stretch across every surface of that house. When I was in middle school and she was in about 60, Graham decided that she wanted to go back to school. This meant that she had to clear some space to study amidst all that macaroni. Sometimes we studied together. I would help her on her spelling, and she would help me on my math, and she beat me to high school graduation. When Graham passed on in 2012, I buried my PhD diploma with her so that she could show it to all my other grandparents when she finally joined the afterlife party. My grandmothers cherished education for very different reasons. Grandma McCarthy, because she was among the first in our family to go to college, And Grandma Barbernitz because she went back to high school to finish what she started. I stand here today because those phenomenal women taught their only grandson to work hard and to dream big and to never, ever, ever take any of this for granted. And if you come to my office in Gutman Library, you will see the McCarthy Way sign and that GED where my PhD would be. My grandmothers were great at raising educators. I remember the day that I returned home from a summer in Ireland after my second year of graduate school. On the table in our living room, there were earmarked copies of W.E.B. Du Bois's Souls of Black Folk and Toni Morrison's Beloved. You see, my parents were reading those books so that they could better talk with me about the things that I was studying. And this shouldn't have surprised me. After all, my father started his teaching career in the mid-'60s, co-teaching the first Black history class at George Washington Carver Middle School in Albany, New York. And my mother, often on her own dime, would stack the shelves of her classroom library in her rural elementary school in upstate New York with diverse books that would probably be banned in a lot of states in this nation today. My parents, too, have always been open to learning new things, a practice that helped save their only son's life when he said, "I'm gay," to them for the first time. I come from a legacy of lifelong learners, teachers who lead with curiosity and generosity and empathy and love. Raised by the role models that I was raised by, it's no surprise that I, too, have become a teacher who loves to learn. And I've learned so much from you. In our classroom communities and way outside of them, we have done good work together, and we should feel proud of the fruits of our shared labor. But these last few years have been quite the crucible. Racial reckoning, treasonous insurrection, global pandemic. These are just three of the many challenges that we face, any one of which could be our undoing. These are not the best of times. And I know many of you feel stressed out and checked out and burned out, standing as you are precariously on the precipice of an unpromised future. But in the midst of this madness, we are bearing witness to brave awakenings, the stirrings of kind and kindred souls that beckon a more beloved world. There are precedents for this throughout history. Crucibles like slavery and segregation, apartheid and genocide have been unlikely incubators for some of the greatest revolutions the world has ever known. The abolitionist Frederick Douglass reminded us, if there is no struggle, there can be no progress. And at the risk of sounding gauzy and grand and perhaps even a bit mad myself, I believe that these recent world historical disruptions have changed us for good. I say that because I have learned this from you, because you've shown me how to listen more deeply and speak more lovingly. You've encouraged me to live at the intersections and sit with discomfort. You have engaged with real talk with me when the classroom isn't yet safe enough for you to be brave. You've challenged me to make our classrooms more accessible and inclusive. You've checked me when my walk and my talk are misaligned. You've helped me to see that self-care is indeed revolutionary and that rest can be resistance too. You've reminded me that equity and justice must be actions, not just aspirations. And you've convinced me that your widespread impatience with the status quo you've inherited is not some sort of woke intolerance, but rather powerful antidote to our persistent pathologies of racism and ableism, of misogyny and xenophobia, of homophobia, of biphobia, and of transphobia. People often ask me about you. Some of the questions are sweetly curious. What's it like to teach Harvard students? Others are more blunt and crude. Are they really all entitled snowflakes? The first kind of question prompts a proud Papa Bear response. They're fabulous. The latter turns me quickly into a cranky old queen. Sometimes I like being a cranky old queen. But not today. There are a lot of misperceptions out there about places like this and people like us. Some are willful in their ignorance, others less so. The challenges before us right now is to prove to the world that we are part of the solution, not the root of the problem. And this shouldn't be hard for you. The things I have learned from you have changed me. They've made me a better professor and a better person. You have much to teach this world. And as you set out to do that, commit yourselves to being lifelong learners, people who lead with curiosity and generosity and empathy and love. After all, brave awakenings must be ongoing. Let us not be so awakened that we are lured into the lie that we have nothing left to learn. We have our work cut out for us because we are living in an age of bullies. Some of these bullies ban books and hate history. Some of these bullies cancel drag queens and won't say gay. Some of these bullies control where we go to the bathroom and what sports we can play. Some of these bullies revoke our rights to control our bodies. Some of these bullies push us out of school and into prisons. Some of these bullies build walls so they can send them back. Some of these bullies put kids in cages and separate migrant families. And some of these bullies are running for office. And some of the worst of them win. Some of these bullies want to be president, including the one who was already twice impeached, who wants to be president again. Some of these bullies want to vanquish your vote and destroy our democracy. And more, they are armed with weapons of war. There are many kinds of bullies, but the one thing they all have in common is that they are broke and afraid. These are hurt people who hurt people because they refuse to make peace with their own pain. So they go to war, and the schools have become their battlegrounds. As educators, we teach and we learn. We're lovers in that regard. But we must also become fighters for truth, for justice, for our future. We did not pick these fights, they picked us. But fight them we must, and we will win, because we must win. We can beat the bullies yet again by standing up to them with love. And I'm talking about love in the way that James Baldwin understood it. Quote, "Love does not begin and end the way we seem to think it does. Love is battle. Love is war. Love is growing up." As I was preparing this speech, I got to thinking about the word bully. A few weeks ago, I posted a question on Facebook. What is the opposite of bully? I do this sometimes when I'm preparing speeches. Crowdsourcing, it's better than ChatGPT. The responses were fascinating. People came up with many antonyms for the verb to bully, but precious few for the noun, the bully. And then it dawned on me, you are the antidote to the bullies. You are the ones we've been waiting for. You are the future we need. When I look out at this diverse crowd of curious and generous and empathetic and loving teachers, lifelong learners, my heart swells with hope. Because this future, the future that we could all share together, is brilliant and beautiful and brave. But enough of this talk. Hugsy class of 2023, go change the world.